Your best friend just betrayed you, and the signs were screaming at you for years because you didn't know how to read people's true character. Carl Jung discovered 2 psychological secrets that reveal someone's real personality, no matter how well they hide it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot fake people, manipulators, and toxic individuals before they can hurt you. You'll also understand the dark psychology behind why people wear masks and how to protect yourself from emotional manipulation. Right now, someone in your life is wearing a mask so perfect it would make Hollywood jealous. They're saying all the right things, hitting all the right notes, but deep down something feels wrong. Your gut is sending you warning signals, but you can't put your finger on why. Here's what's going to mess with your head. Carl Jung discovered there are exactly 2 ways to see through anyone's act, no matter how good they are at pretending. These aren't complex psychological tricks that require years of study. They're simple observations that cut straight through to someone's core, and once you know what to look for, fake people become as obvious as a bad toupee in a hurricane. But here's the part that'll make you uncomfortable. Jung wrote, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." These same reveals will expose every dark corner of your own personality that you've been desperately trying to hide. Ready to see how deep this rabbit hole goes? Most people are walking around blind when it comes to reading character. They fall for smooth talkers, impressive resumes, and anyone who makes them feel good about themselves. They get shocked when the nice guy turns out to be a narcissist, or when their loyal friend sells them out for a better opportunity. But these betrayals aren't surprises. They're predictable patterns that scream their intentions long before they strike. Jung's first reveal is what he called shadow projection. Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This is what happens when people judge others. Not casual opinions, but those moments when someone goes full attack mode on another person. When their voice gets sharp, their body language changes, and you can practically see the hatred pouring out of them. Here's Robert, your typical gym bro who's always posting motivational quotes about authenticity and being real. But watch what happens when he talks about guys who take selfies. His jaw clenches, his voice drops, and he goes on these rants about how pathetic and desperate they are. "Real men don't need validation," he says, while secretly checking his own post likes every 5 minutes. Robert isn't just judging selfie guys. He's at war with a part of himself that desperately wants that same attention and validation. Jung called this the shadow, the parts of ourselves we've rejected and buried so deep we don't even know they exist. "What we resist persists," he said, and Robert's resistance to his own attention-seeking desires is making them stronger. The traits we attack most viciously in others? They're usually the ones we're most ashamed of in ourselves. It's like our mind creates this psychological projection system where we throw our rejected qualities onto other people so we don't have to deal with them. This is why genuinely confident people don't waste time tearing others down. Someone who's actually secure doesn't feel threatened by other people's success, looks, or choices. But someone who's faking confidence? They'll attack anyone who reminds them of what they're pretending not to want. The intensity of someone's judgment is like a psychological thermometer. The hotter their reaction, the deeper you're looking into their own insecurities. When Robert goes nuclear on selfie culture, he's telling you exactly what he's struggling with internally. But here's where it gets twisted. This projection thing works with positive traits too. When someone constantly puts others on pedestals, gushing about how talented or confident they are, they're often projecting abilities they have but are too scared to own. Watch for that emotional charge. When someone's reaction to another person feels way over the top, whether love or hate, you're seeing their shadow material in real time. This reveals both what they've rejected in themselves and what they secretly long to express. If you've ever caught yourself going overboard judging someone and realized it said more about you than them, drop a comment saying, "I see myself in my judgments." Jung's second reveal happens when someone's persona gets threatened. Jung studied what he called the persona, the mask we all wear to fit into society. He wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But most people spend insane amounts of energy maintaining their fake persona instead of just being themselves. It's exhausting work, and when that image gets challenged, their real character comes crashing through like the Kool-Aid Man. Watch what happens when someone faces unexpected criticism, gets their competence questioned, or gets caught in a mistake. Do they handle it gracefully, or does their inner 3-year-old come out swinging? Charlotte built her entire identity around being the calm, collected friend who never loses her cool. She's the one everyone calls during drama because she's so level-headed and wise. But when her boyfriend criticized her cooking at a dinner party, something ugly emerged. Her voice turned ice cold, she threw subtle insults at his mother, and by the end of the night, she'd systematically destroyed his confidence while maintaining that sweet smile. That moment revealed more about Charlotte's real character than 2 years of friendship. Under pressure, when her carefully maintained image cracked, her true patterns emerged. She wasn't actually calm and collected, she was controlling and vindictive, just better at hiding it than most people. These persona breakdowns reveal what Jung called the true self underneath all the performance. Jung believed that thinking is difficult, that's why most people judge. But judgment based on someone's persona is worthless. The real person only emerges when their mask cracks under pressure. When someone's phone dies and they can't check social media. When they're kept waiting longer than expected. When their joke doesn't land and nobody laughs. These tiny moments when the mask slips are worth more than hours of polite conversation. Watch for micro-expressions, tone changes, body language shifts. The most authentic reactions happen when people are caught off guard. Here's what makes this so reliable. Maintaining a fake image requires enormous psychological energy. When that system gets stressed, primitive defense mechanisms kick in. These defenses reveal core personality patterns that someone can't fake. Do they attack back, showing underlying aggression? Do they withdraw and shut down, revealing avoidance patterns? Do they deflect and blame others, demonstrating dishonesty tendencies? Or do they pause, reflect, and respond authentically, showing actual emotional maturity? The way someone handles unexpected pressure tells you whether they've actually processed their difficult emotions or if they're still being controlled by them. Stress doesn't build character, it reveals character that was already there. If you want people to stop playing games with your emotions, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're about to go deeper into the psychology of manipulation. These patterns work because they operate below conscious awareness. Someone can rehearse their words, practice their facial expressions, and carefully craft their responses when they have time to prepare. But when their psychological defenses get activated, their authentic programming takes over. Character assessment isn't about trying to catch people being fake or exposing their flaws for entertainment. It's about seeing the complete person, their struggles, their defense mechanisms, their potential for growth, and their genuine strengths. This kind of understanding creates real connections instead of surface-level interactions that fall apart the moment things get challenging. But there's a third pattern Jung discovered when you combine these two reveals, what he called individuation. Jung wrote, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This is where you observe how someone handles their own shadow material when it gets reflected back to them. This is the ultimate character assessment because it shows whether someone is capable of actual growth or if they're trapped in unconscious patterns. When you notice someone projecting their shadow onto others, You can gently reflect it back with curiosity, not accusation. I noticed you seem really bothered by people who seek attention. Have you ever felt like you wanted that kind of attention but held yourself back? Watch what happens. Can they pause and actually consider what you're saying? Do they get defensive and shut down? Do they attack you for pointing it out? This moment reveals their relationship with their own unconscious material and their capacity for self-awareness. The people worth your time and energy are the ones who can look at their shadow without completely falling apart. They're doing the inner work, facing their darkness, and becoming whole human beings. Everyone else is just performing, and eventually that performance cracks under pressure. These reveals work because authentic character can't be faked indefinitely. The unconscious mind always finds ways to leak through the cracks. Once you understand these patterns, fake people become as obvious as someone trying to sneak an elephant into a library. But remember, this blade cuts both ways. While you're analyzing everyone else, they might be watching you too. The question isn't whether you have a shadow, because everyone does. The question is whether you're brave enough to face yours before it reveals itself to the world. Turn on those notifications, because understanding these patterns doesn't just protect you from manipulative people. It forces you to confront the parts of yourself you've been running from your entire life. And that confrontation? That's where real transformation begins. See you on the next one.